Good afternoon everybody, it's Wednesday 27th of June. I haven't vlogged for a couple of weeks. I said I'd try and make them a little bit more regular. So today's vlog is about two things: a quick update on what I've been doing, where I'm going, and then also to update you on some other things that have been happening to do with fitness competing. So I'm still down in Weston-super-Mare. I've been dealing with a few family issues and a few things connected with my businesses, which I've almost now worked through and resolved. So normal service will resume very soon. I'm enjoying the West Country weather. It's sensational down here in Weston-super-Mare. The weather has been awesome now for the last few weeks. 30 degrees yesterday, 29 degrees currently. The gym facilities down here are also exceptional. I've been training at a gym called Sups Gym on a distribution park just outside the city centre. It's a traditional bodybuilding gym, so it's got bits of kit that you just don't find in commercial gyms, which has been absolutely fantastic. So in terms of my training and nutrition, some of you who follow me on Facebook will have noticed that I did question whether or not I'd ever be ready for stage at the latter half of the year. That's a genuine concern. And it's a genuine concern because it might be an element of body dysmorphia almost, that I don't see the progress because I see myself every day. But I have been following the same training program set by Matt Jones since I've been down here. So going to the gym, hitting the same exercise groups in the same sequence and rotation, hitting with the same level of intensity as I was up in Manchester, but also using other bits of kit that we have down here that we don't get up there. So training wise, I've been consistently, and that's been the key word that I've been challenged to demonstrate, is I am training with the same level of consistency and intensity as I always have done. In terms of nutrition, anyone who knows me, and Sean and Kat, who's Sean's flatmate, who owns the flat that we're in, they will tell you that I'm still as obsessive about my food and preparation as I've always been. Still eating out of a Tupperware box as I have been now for the best part of probably 3 years. Don't have very many evenings off or days off, to be perfectly honest. I'm pretty consistent 99.9% of the time with my diet, much to the detriment of relationships and friendships and what was a very busy social life. So in terms of nutrition and dieting and training, it's as consistent and as intense and as focused as it's always been. In terms of supplementation, I'm trying a few new supplements to see if I can aid muscle growth and development. And they are yielding some results, but we'll see over time whether or not they yield the results that we need to achieve in order to get to competition. Now, the first competition is due at the beginning of October. Whether I'm ready for that or not still remains a big question. There's a developing view that perhaps I needed to take a whole year off to build and grow, but if you like competing, I don't see why you would do that. If you want to compete and you like being on stage, then plans should be tailored to accommodate that. We've always known that we were going to compete the back half of this year once we withdrew from Pure Elite in April, so it shouldn't really come as a surprise for everyone. So hopefully we will still remain on track. The one thing is certain is I will 100% be competing at the Ultimate Fitness League World Championships in Bristol in November. A bit of announcement for something that Scott and Joe Pross have asked me to do on the Friday, but I won't announce that. I'll let them do that in the fullness of time. But I'm very, very excited to be supporting Joe and Scott over what will be the second event that they've staged. If it's anything like the first one, it'll be awesome, but I know it's going to be bigger and better. So I do very much encourage everyone to check out the ultimatefitnessleague.com website to find out all about the entry dates, the criteria, and the different categories that are there. Also thinking about entering the Pure Elite World Championships. I did want to do that last November. The difference this year is politics, to be honest. In my various vlogs and posts where I've challenged what I consider to be unethical behaviour, where people try and use their celebrity to flog you generic plans but they're promised as bespoke, where they then try and piggyback off that to sell you products through pyramid schemes. That has obviously upset a few people. Now I could do what the majority of people do and just stay silent, but I've never been able to do that in any aspect of my life. Where I see that somebody has the potential to be exploited, and in fitness we all know that there's a lot of people in fitness for a whole variety of reasons. Some just like the thought of competing and wanting to create awesome physiques, but a lot of people have had to overcome massive psychological and physical conditions to grow the confidence to step on stage. And they are, unfortunately, ripe picking for those who want to exploit their dreams and aspirations. And I can't sit back and say nothing when it's obvious to me that exploitation is happening. But the backlash of that is that unfortunately we see in fitness that there's a lot of sycophancy, there's a lot of celebrity worship, and there's a lot of groupthink. And the people that I have challenged are very well known and very popular, and they're very well liked. And as individuals, they are all awesomely nice people, I'm sure. But groupthink has sort of come to the fore, and people that I was friends with and have socialised with and have considered friends who I have never had a disagreement or a dispute with have decided to unfriend and block and cut all contact. And I'm not necessarily disappointed with that, because I don't really want people in my lives that don't think for themselves, to be perfectly honest, and don't make their own decisions. I don't want to be friends with sheep. I want to be friends with people who are individuals and who think for themselves and who do what they think is right. But I am disappointed that the politics and the groupthink is so rampant and rife, and that is disappointing, because it means that not only are my words and challenges clearly having an impact, which is good, because if I stop one person from being exploited and spending money on a crap coaching service or a product they don't really need, then that's a good thing. But it has meant that I'm creating for myself a rather hostile competing environment at the Pure Elite World Championships, and that's probably fine, because it's not going to put me off. I'm Pure Elite with the first federation that I competed with. I was very happy, and I'm still humbled to have been part of that journey and to have been awarded a pro card by Stuart and Janine. I'm a huge fan of Pure Elite, and there are very many amazing athletes who compete with them. I have never challenged Pure Elite. I've never criticised Pure Elite as a federation, but I have criticised a number of people who happen to compete with it. You can't associate the two there, I'm afraid. My criticism is of individuals and what individuals do, not of groups or federations. So as I said, I will be competing with both in November. Whether I do the UK UP show at the beginning of October remains to be seen. I hope I do, I hope I'm ready. We'll just have to see how things progress. I will just keep training away with the same intensity and consistency I always have. I'll keep eating. I'm hoping that one of the things that may not be leading to my muscle growth is that perhaps I'm not eating enough calories, but that's something I'll review with my coaches over the next few days. The one humbling thing that's happened over the last couple of weeks is the number of messages I've received from people who have listened to the things I've said about some of these pyramid schemes, things like the R-Bone, the Isogenics, the Herbalife, the Juice Plus, and have told me stories about their family members being involved in those pyramid schemes and losing substantial amount of money. But they feel that they've been contractually obliged to stick to these things and flog them to their friends and family, and they've lost friendships, they've lost family members, and it's caused disputes and rows. And that is the essence of a pyramid scheme, really, which is why I think pyramid schemes ought to be banned. There is an ongoing legal case in the United States at the moment connected with R-Bone about whether a couple are currently challenging R-Bone in the courts, and the courts will decide whether they are in fact a pyramid scheme. And I look forward to the outcome of that court case with huge interest, because hopefully the courts will decide that it is a pyramid scheme, in which case all the things I've been saying sort of gather a little bit more momentum, and perhaps people will sit up and realise that multi-level marketing, whatever marketing strategist came up with that term, multi-level marketing is the same as a pyramid scheme, and hopefully the legal beagles will come up and agree with that definition in the fullness of time. The next things that are happening really is it's Sean Coates and my second anniversary today. Sean's put up with a lot over the last 2 years of me competing and various injuries and being ill, so hopefully, touch wood, the next few weeks, months and years will be a little bit more straightforward. for another holiday to look forward to at the end of August when we're returning to Torre del Mar, which will be fantastic. And then of course Australia in the latter half of the year. So things are really exciting. I'm still getting abusive messages and calls, as Sean's family witnessed for themselves when they came up here the other night, on a daily basis. The more criticism and hatred I receive, the more I know I'm doing something right. So I will continue to challenge things that I don't agree with in fitness, as I would in any other industry, and as I have done all my life. And if you don't like it, well, you don't have to follow me. You can always bugger off and go and follow some other sycophantic wannabe instead. And on that note, it's such a gorgeous day. It's now 2:15, and I think I'd best get to the gym. Goodbye.